So one of the roles that I play with Manitoba Agriculture in the value added branch is I'm our guy who is responsible for our funding programs for you for processors. And Manitoba is going to have a new grant funding program coming. It's called the Sustainable Canadian Agricultural Partnership, or Sustainable CAP, or Sustainable CAP, if you like. There's also a federal program that was launched, I think, about a week, 2 weeks ago, by the exact same name. And they have a great program, and that's going to be consistent across Canada. But every province, including Manitoba, is going to have its own version of sustainable CAP. And our version is designed by people like myself with the specific needs of our province in mind and with the specific things we want to accomplish in our province. So it's going to be rolled out over a little bit of time. But one of the things that's going to be rolled out right away as part of the capital investment and infrastructure program is going to be something called enterprise resource planning software. So capital assets ERP software. What this is for is it's going to support the continued growth of companies that have business operations encompassing multiple pieces of equipment, maybe not, who knows, and processes and or multiple functional departments that currently are managed in silos and do not communicate with each other. So that's a pretty broad definition, and really the intent is to leave it fairly open to pretty well help you with everything we're discussing today. And again, if you have other things beyond that that can be integrated under this whole theme, under this spirit of this program, then it's definitely worth consideration. This is going to offer a cost share ratio of 25% government and 75% applicant, to a maximum contribution of $250,000 per project. The cost share ratios are everything isn't 50-50 anymore. We had a 50-50 back in the Growing Forward 2 days, and it was great for the few people who were able to access the money in the 2.5 years that we ran the program out of 5 years. So by scaling back the contribution amounts, we are able to support a larger part of our industry. So, and I know I shouldn't be apologizing for the smaller contribution, because it still is a meaningful contribution, and I think still will be very helpful to you. In terms of eligible costs, I apologize for just reading all this to you. I hate doing that. But really, basically, it's going to be the purchase of software for process integration. So it can be all sorts of things, e-commerce, again, all the stuff we talked about, raw materials, finished goods, inventory, purchasing management, so your inventories, processing plant controls, if you're able to do that in terms of getting your machinery talking, traceability management, order fulfillment, and other business processes that can be integrated. So pretty broad brush we're painting here. So purchase of software, if that's an option, and related hardware. So stuff like routers, switches, cables. So in case you're creating a system to create this interconnectivity within your facility, those would all be eligible. Computers would not be, because that's considered a multi-use item and we're not allowed to fund those. So those would be stricken. Tablets, smartphones, any sort of technologies like that you may need or may use in these implementations, but unfortunately it's not something we're allowed to fund. So and basically looking to support new ERP deployments. So if you already have a massive facility and you've got a system already and you're looking to add to it, that's not necessarily what we're looking to support. Another thing eligible is prepayment of subscription-based ERP software. So the research I've done on this, and just from what Brian and Brent have mentioned, is that there can definitely be plans that you can do on a monthly payment plan. So we're looking that if it's possible to pay your vendor for a period of up to 3 years. So then it's prepaid, and then this, we can actually actively support the implementation of this. So we'll see how that works out. Professional services. So this would be for engaging with folks like Brian to help you determine the feasibility, the cost, the scoping design, or if there's engineering people you need to talk to in terms of looking at your machines and saying, well, can they talk to each other? Can they talk to a central server or whatever? And we're looking to reimburse on the cost share formula if you do all the analysis and you decide, no, we can't do this, we can't afford this, or it's too disruptive, or you know what, we're planning a big capital infrastructure project in 2 years. We're going to put this on the shelf right now. So whether it goes through or not, we're still looking to support the exercise. It's kind of redundant here, professional services that contributes to the design and completion of an eligible project. And then finally, the fixed overhead for production operations. So this is kind of a new thing and not inclusive of management or administration costs. So this is a new thing that would allow you to receive cost share funding for reimbursement of employee time. So previously, I think on the Canadian Agricultural Partnership, we didn't have it within the capital streams, but I think there were some streams within that program where there was what's called in-kind expenses were allowed. And essentially what that is to say, well, my employees are putting in this extra overtime and I need to compensate them, and the program would support that. They found that it's a difficult thing to administer. So what they've done is they've scrapped in kind right across the board, and they've included the fixed overhead. And what this is this could be up to 10% of the project value. And you can include costs such as the employee overtime, employee participation in the project, other costs that might be other things that you might be incurring. So this can be helpful in that fashion.